we are popping in for a surprise episode on Monday.
Episode.
Yes, a bonus episode because Taylor Swift came out with the new album Folklore and surprised everybody on Friday with this album. And we are so excited because over here in the Twin Life podcast world, we are big Taylor Swift fans. Yes. So while you're listening, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we have new videos. And or if you're listening, if we have a new episode out, like a bonus surprise episode in your feed. Because we might, who knows, we might pop in every once in a while on a Monday with a very short episode. So that said, I think we're going to just jump right in because we want to make this one really short because we do have our normal Wednesday podcast. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, so new album, Taylor Swift.
T Swift.
Folklore. Yes, it's called Folklore. She has been hibernating in her house for all of quarantine like the rest of us. And of course, she had to come out with brilliant music. So
it is 16 tracks. There is a bonus track you can get if you actually purchase the physical copy of the album. You get a bonus track. There also is a bunch of lyric videos on her Taylor Swift YouTube, and then there's the video for Cardigan, right? Is that the video?
Yes, her single. Yeah.
Yes, Cardigan is her single.
So I think Cardigan is a good place to start since that is the single. I love the song. I think it's amazing. The video is great. The part that stood out the most to me about the video is, oh wait, since we're talking, I have a cardigan because in honor of Taylor Swift's new single, I'm going to wear my cardigan while we talk about this song. So, very cute. Okay, so the song, the one lyric that stood out to me about this in this song was her when she said, what'd she say? Oh no, not the lyric. The one part of the video that stood out to me was she was so basically the concept is she's playing at a piano and what looks like, you know, early
a rundown shack.
Yeah, like in the early 1800s, 1850s type of time, and she's playing the piano and suddenly like magic dust starts coming out of it and she opens up the top of the piano and she climbs in and she ends up in like this big green forest and then she plays a little bit and then again the piano starts glowing, or the seat this time starts glowing. She opens up the seat, she climbs in the seat and she ends up in the ocean and she swims to a piano and clings to the piano. I thought that particular moment of her swimming to the piano and clinging to it was like so cool because like she, you know, I don't know her personally, but I feel like obviously music is where she goes to when she feels like she's drowning or she's sad or she's like buried under her sadness. So
I feel like during this whole COVID situation, she really, like, I guess that video is supposed to show that like her piano was like her safe space and her place that she escaped to. So some pretty cool symbolism in that Cardigan video for sure.
Yes. So if you guys haven't listened to that song yet, it was literally amazing. The one lyric that she says in the hook is, and when I felt like I was a cardigan, when I felt like I was an old cardigan under someone's bed, you put me on and said I was your favorite. So great lyrics, like we expect from Taylor Swift. It definitely has more of like an alternative, like indie sound.
It's a very mellow, chill. There's not one like upbeat, like poppy ballad at all. Like this, no power ballads in this. It's very like chill. It's got kind of a Vanessa Carlton like
Michelle Branch
to it. Yeah, very like a lot of more. I would say more Vanessa Carlton because like she does
the piano
because
thing.
It's piano, but like it's got the storytelling to it. And Vanessa Carlton always like she does a lot of songs that are like symbolize storytelling. My favorite song on the album is August. Is my favorite song.
So good.
It's so good. That was my favorite song. My least favorite song on the album, I think, was Exile and I think it's just because I'm not a big fan of Bon Iver. I don't really like them very much. And so the song was kind of like, meh. I didn't really like, I don't know. I was listening to it.
It was a huge surprise.
When I heard his voice, I was like, that's a man's voice.
Like, it was the very first voice. I was like, am I listening to the same song? Definitely not the one where I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, I really want to listen to that one again. For sure.
Right, exactly. That one kind of gets like a skip. The Last Great American Dynasty was a pretty interesting song, I thought, too. Because she's telling the story of her house that she lives in, sort of. Like she talks like at the end of the song, she tells this whole story about how basically this woman like gets marries this really rich man and then like he dies and she inherits all this wealth or whatever. And then And I don't know, it just like tells this whole story. And then at the end, she's like, you know, now this is my house and da 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 da. So that was definitely, when I was reading the tweets, she did a lot of tweets about this album, kind of giving a little bit of backstory behind the album. But one of the things she mentioned was that the album was full of a lot of storytelling, and The Last Great American Dynasty is definitely storytelling for sure.
Yeah.
Told a whole arc of the story. I thought was really cool. So I think, I was saying earlier, like, I didn't really have like a least favorite song. I guess I would, if I had to pick one, I would say the song with Bon Iver was not like my favorite, but I could listen to the whole album again. It's very much like you want to sit and drink a cup of coffee and sit on your patio in like the early morning and like listen to the song or whatever. So definitely has that, like, remember when like Starbucks used to have like those Starbucks albums and it was all
yeah,
like
it looks like it should have been.
yeah, this is very much one of those like those Starbucks albums. Okay, so there's a couple of songs that stood out to me, and a couple of lyrics that really stood out to me. So with Cardigan, I already said that the one lyric earlier about the cardigan that I loved, and then there's another lyric and that says, when you are young, they assume you know nothing. I thought that was like that. So powerful. And then there's a song called Tears Ricochet, which I love that song. There's a lyric in there that says, if I'm dead to you, why are you at my wake, cursing my name, wishing I'd stay, look at my tears ricochet. Great lyric. Fantastic writing. Just the idea of saying to somebody like if I'm dead to you, why are you at my wake? Like, that's like why do you care? Stuff. It is. It's just like if I'm dead to you, like if you don't care about me, if you didn't care enough about me in our relationship, then why all of a sudden do you care so much to be like talking crap about me or like trying to make my life hard? Like why are you in my business at all? Like, yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people, I think honestly, as like our age group in our 30s, because we're literally the same age as Taylor Swift. So like we pretty much grew up with her. Like we were the same age as her when she came out with her first album. And the things that she's talked about as she's become an adult are relevant, I feel like, to us as adults. And so that's like my favorite part of like her writing and her music. It like has grown up with us. Then there's also a lyric in the song Betty that says, the worst thing I ever did was what I did to you. That was another full story, that song. Yeah, full story. I'm not really sure. I want to know what you think. I was listening to it again today. It sort of sounded like she like had a relationship with this girl, or this girl liked her, or like something. Okay, so when I first listened to it, I thought it was kind of like a romance, or I thought it was like her friend or school friend. But then as you listen to it, it kind of sounds like she had like a romance with it, and with this girl Betty. And so I was like, okay, is that what? Maybe it is. Maybe Taylor Swift just took on to us in this album. But yeah, I just thought it was, I don't know, I thought it was an interesting song. But it definitely did tell a whole story about how she like met this girl, how she hurt, like she said, she leaves it very ambiguous as to how exactly she hurt this girl. She doesn't say what she did exactly. She just says that she did something, but we don't know what it is really. So yeah, I thought she had like stole her boyfriend or something like that. But she has a lyric in there where she says she's something about kissing on their porch or something like that. There's a lyric in there like that. So very interesting, very like gets your mind like twirling a little bit on like Taylor Swift's inner life that we may not have been aware of. And then also, so I think like the biggest lyric that everyone's been talking to is a lyrics where she says, I'm doing good, I'm on some new shit. I'm doing good, I'm on some new shit. Literally, when you press play on the first song, that is the lyric. Yeah, that's the song, the one or whatever, right? Yeah, the song the one. Yeah. And it's like just so, I don't know, I just loved it. It was just like unapologetic. Another lyric in that song that I liked was it would have been fun if you were the one. That's like the song, that's the chorus to the song. And I think that's just, again, great storytelling, great lyrics. She just had all these like one-liners. And the good thing about Taylor Swift's music, that I feel like if you were to listen to it, because Ash and I both said this album is one you have to listen to twice. If you listen to it once, it kind of loses you a little bit. Like you're listening, you're like, hey, let me put all the story together and the lyric, and then you listen to it a second time, and you just like hear all the lyrics and all the story, and you catch all the meaning to it. But that particular song, when she says that, like, it would have been fun if you were the one. It just relates. It just sounds like a diary entry. Like this whole album, the same as like Lover. Like it just sounded like Taylor Swift is sitting there just writing out like her thoughts about these stories. Things and situations that either happen in her life or maybe someone else's. So it's so raw. It's not like that typical poppy like chorus that rhymes with like the melody that rhymes with like it's not written that way. It's written, it all has chorus, they all have chorus, but like it's written in a way that's so much more raw. Like every line doesn't rhyme with each other. Like it's just it's more like in a spoken word, like attached to like music. But it makes it so much more relatable. I feel like this album is like another good, solid, relatable album from Taylor Swift. Yeah. Some other ones that I want to talk about, or I don't really need to talk about them, but I want to point out like that stood out to me. Mad Woman, great song. Peace, great song. Mirrorball was a great song. There was My Tears Ricochet. Did you talk about that one? My Tears Ricochet. I said the lyric from that song a little bit ago. The one, if I'm dead to you, why are you? Oh, okay, that's in that. Yes, that's from Tears Ricochet. Yeah, that was a great song. I mean, there's just literally, we could talk for a lot longer about this album, but there's just so many things that are great on it. And I really enjoyed listening to it. I've been listening to it literally on repeat. That's kind of how I listen to Taylor Swift albums, because they just like set the mood. I think every Taylor Swift album has like set the mood for my life. Like Red, we were 22 when that song came out. Yeah. 22, like 22. Going in. Yeah. Like, and then the Teardrops on My Guitar, that album, like 13-year-old. She was like, Taylor I think Swift. It was like 15 or 16 years old, just like your heart getting just like crushed by this guy that doesn't like you or whatever. She just has a way of like putting a time capsule on wherever we are in our life. I'm waiting for her to have babies and get married, because I'm very interested to see what she writes as a mother and as a wife. So a lot of what people have been saying about this album is like it's kind of like an ode to COVID. Like people have just been relating a lot of these lyrics to like, this is how it, like, in kind of a joking way, but like that's how I feel about like COVID. Like I really wish that, this is how I feel about 2020. Yeah, that's how I feel about 2020. So I knew when this whole situation started that we were going to get some gangster music that came out of it. So Taylor Swift definitely knocked it out of the park with this album. So I am thoroughly enjoying it. I will be listening to it again and again. Yeah. So on that note, I feel like we should end on minute 13 because that is her lucky number. So thank you guys so much for listening. And if you have listened to Taylor Swift album, please let us know, because we love it. And I've seen so many of my friends posting their favorite songs in their stories, and just saying how much they're loving listening to the music and just relating to it so much. So if you are in that same boat with us, please listen and let us know what you think. Yeah. Okay. So, so we will talk to you guys later, and thanks for listening to our bonus episode all about Taylor Swift's Folklore album, and we will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye. Bye.